Hello there, wellness entrepreneurs. Welcome back. Today, I'm honored to have on my client, Karen Przbylski, who is a licensed acupuncturist and online functional medicine practitioner. And she specializes in helping women through perimenopause and especially too if they're struggling with any GI issues as well. So tell us a little bit about the work you're doing these days, Karen, and welcome.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate you having me on. I'm very honored to be with you here today. What brought me to this? Well, I would say that COVID was a pivotal moment for me because I had been working in a community acupuncture clinic and then that closed and that forced me to kind of have to reassess and find a way to work with having kids at home as well. So I had previously had some interest in functional medicine and I thought no better time to go and research that a little bit more. And so I found a program that worked for me and I got certified in functional medicine. And that was the thing that kind of catapulted me into starting my own business. So that was about 6 years ago now. I started working solely with digestive health issues because I had my own history with digestive health. And so I thought I could really help a lot of people with the same kind of condition and help them move through step by step without having to guess. And so as I worked with that demographic, about 2 years ago, I started to realize that my patient demographic was really women 35 to 55, and that their symptoms were associated with perimenopause, and they weren't able to connect the dots. And so I moved into the perimenopause space with a subspecialty in digestive health issues to help these women kind of quiet all of the noise because there's so much conflicting evidence online right now and nobody knows where to start, what to do. There's people telling you to eat more protein, but that you should fast, you should have creatine, you should work on building muscle. But a lot of the women that I work with are overwhelmed, they're exhausted, they're moms, they're busy, they don't have time, and they're not quite sure where to start or what's going to stick or work for them. And so I moved into the space of perimenopause.
Yeah, I love all that. And it's so important because there is so much conflicting information out there now. And especially with AI, they can get information now like at any time. And who
Hmm.
knows if it's even good? So
Right.
I love that you're doing this work. So, yeah, tell us a little bit about, you will shift gears a little bit about like now getting those clients and having the women to serve. So, tell us where you were when you first decided to start working with me.
Oh, I was scattered, overwhelmed, and all over the place and providing way too much information too fast. I was, I kind of had that shiny new object syndrome where I thought, oh, maybe I should try this, or maybe I should try that. Maybe I should expand my demographic. Maybe I should be doing YouTube videos. I know I should be on Instagram. I don't like Instagram, it's intimidating. And so I was just very scattered. And I had worked with two other business coaches before finding you. And I wasn't any further along in my path. I was just more confused and had been given more options. And more options wasn't what I needed. I needed someone to take a step back, look at the big picture with me, and then sort through all of the chaos and decide what was going to work for me and work more efficiently and set my boundaries. And
Mhm.
so I found you because I had been following you because I had worked with you, gosh, 11 years ago,
Crazy.
and you improved my quality of life beyond measure because when I started working with you as a PT, you were a PT at that time, I was very limited by back pain. And so I know that working with you in that capacity was life changing. And I thought, okay, she's business coaching. Maybe she can have a profound effect on this part of my life as well. And I would say that my only regret is that I didn't start with you in the first place because I could have been where I am now a year and a half ago instead of working with other practitioners and other programs and kind of wasting my time and spinning my wheels.
Yeah, and I mean, so many practitioners come to me from that very point, and I
Mhm.
always look at it like, I'm so glad you came here
Me
now.
too.
And, it was the time. You came in with a lot of, and I see a lot of practitioners come to me this way as well. Yes, I would have loved for you to come sooner, but sometimes the universe is how it is.
Hmm.
And how you came to me though was with a lot of pieces of the puzzle. They weren't just lining up in a way that got you the results that you really wanted. So we were able to do that together. So
Yeah.
for you and anyone who's in this situation, I don't look at it, it's not time wasted because you did put in a lot of energy and time to that. It was stepping stones to get you to where you are now. And now we're just doing it faster.
It's true. It's true. And it's not that the other programs were bad or wrong or anything like that. It just wasn't the right fit for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
And I feel like my needs were, very unique to me. And just
Hmm.
like a lot of other practitioners could probably go in with a different program. For me, I needed something very different. And I really needed to work one-on-one with someone and not in a group. That was really important for me. So,
Yeah. And let's tell them and celebrate your successes because you before we hit record, we were mentioning that like a month after we started working together, you had your best month in September. And
mhm.
then January this month has been another record-breaking month, and you even work less hours. So tell us a little bit about those months for
I
everyone.
did. It was wild. I started working with you in August
Mhm.
and I got so much clarity. And honestly, you gave me permission
Mm.
to not feel like I had to do it all. And so that helped me focus my efforts more and streamline things and just focus on getting good at doing one thing well. And since I had such an aversion to social media, I started working and just trying to get good at developing reels because prior to working with you, it took me about 2 hours to do two reels.
Mm.
And then once you taught me the framework and a little bit more about the algorithm and what a hook is and how to use all of these different things, it became a lot easier for me and actually became a little bit more fun. So once I got into that, then I got into a better system and time blocking my work schedule, which helped me create more boundaries, which made me more confident and more efficient in the way that I worked. And so I felt like the discovery calls that I was having in September, first of all, September, I had more discovery calls that month than I had ever had.
Mhm.
And so I was organically attracting people. And I really think it was due to the confidence that I had in what I was working with you. And so I had my biggest revenue month then. I did feel like I was working harder though as well because I was still learning new stuff. Then about just after Thanksgiving through the new year, I had some family stuff and I needed to take a step back from my business. And you really helped me navigate that. I have this all or nothing mentality, and you really helped me work through this is what is the bare minimum that you need to do to keep going in your business and be consistent, and how can you keep showing up in your business while also tending to the needs of your family. And that was really, really, really important for me because it's very easy to have a mindset that backslides because life is going to happen. And it doesn't mean that everything is over or that if you're not giving 100% to one part of your business, that it's going to fail. And then following that in January, I came back fully recharged, ready to go. I was having discovery call after discovery call, and I had my best revenue month ever. And I
Mm.
worked less and with fewer new patients. And I still maintained my boundaries with not working nights and weekends. It was amazing. And it all seemed to just be very seamless and effortless. When I compare January to September, the amount of hours that I put in outside of patient one-to-one time was so much more than how it was in January.
Yeah, I love that. Huge congrats. Huge
Thank
congrats.
you. Thank you.
And I can hear the question going on in my audience's minds of what brought in the consults? You want to tell a little bit about what worked to bring in the consults?
Yes. So a lot of my traffic comes from Google and other sites that I'm listed as a practitioner under. What I'm noticing and what people have said in our discovery calls is that they were interested and intrigued by my website, but then they would go to my Instagram and see all of the reels and the information I was putting out. And that's what resonated with them and inspired them to book the call. And they weren't booking calls 2 weeks out. They were booking calls like the next day. I would wake up and there'd be a discovery call. That was really exciting because that wasn't happening. I'd have people book 2 weeks out and then cancel. And that was a trend that I was seeing before working with you. And now people are booking, sticking to it. They're I feel like they have a decision half made before I even get on the call with them.
Yeah, huge. And this
Mm-hmm.
is all it's all repeatable now. And you are
Yeah.
growing on Instagram too, so you're growing your audience as well
Mm-hmm.
too. So it's just now a snowball in it's fueling itself.
Yeah, I think that in the beginning for me, I didn't really feel that I could get new traffic from social media. I didn't believe in it, but I hadn't considered the idea that people would find my website and then look on my Instagram to see kind of who I was and how I talk and how I present information. And
Yeah.
that's what really connected them with this might be somebody that I could work with.
Yeah, they see you as like a real human being, as a person, and your content. We've worked on your content. It's so
Mhm.
relatable. We've also worked on consults too to help with conversion. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, that has been before working with you, I felt like my discovery calls were a little bit all over the place. I had ideas and I had a loose structure to how I wanted that call to go. And oftentimes it would go off track.
Mhm.
And so you helped me kind of devise a script that was a loose script, something that I could follow and bring the conversation back to the information that's the need to know, and then really think about it through the patient's perspective. What questions might they have? Bring my language out of practitioner mode and into person to person. It's very easy as a practitioner to speak like a practitioner to another practitioner. It's a different thing to speak to someone on the level of understanding their symptoms, how this is affecting their life. What would their life look like without working on this issue? And really kind of bringing it back down to a conversational level, one to one with someone, and really understanding from that perspective that I have the answers to their questions going into that session in the language that's easy for them to relate to.
Yeah, 100%. I love that. And huge congrats on that.
Mhm.
So tell us a little bit, and before we get into this question, actually, tell everyone your social media handles so they can go give you a follow and a shout out. Where are you located on Instagram?
At Perimenopause Made Simple.
Easy to remember, simple tagline. So I love it.
Mhm.
Okay, and then tell us a little bit about what's shifted in your content creation. Do you think that helped with all of this?
Hmm. Meaning like the process, like
Yeah, process and type of content that you're actually creating compared to what you were doing before.
okay, yeah, this is actually really big for me because part of what held me back before working with you was feeling like I couldn't be my authentic, quirky, silly, goofy, northeast, self-deprecating humor self, right? That's just who I am at the core. I felt like I needed to be very polished, play it safe, and I was afraid to show too much personality for fear of not being taken seriously.
Sure.
And so I didn't feel like it was imposter syndrome, but I trying to be the polished version of myself felt like an imposter. And
Mm.
so how can I bridge the gap and communicate the information to my audience in the most authentic way that's to me? And so I really felt like learning how to do a reel and having B-roll, first of all, knowing what B-roll is, but being able to create reels with me showing my silly self, living my life was the key for me. Because before I felt like I had to show all of my life, and I'm a pretty private person, so I didn't want to show all of myself. So that was one thing. The second thing would be that all content has a goal,
Mm.
and the goal is not self-serving for me. It's so that people out there that I know that I can help can find me. And so gaining followers isn't about getting numbers. It's really about approaching women in a way that shows them that I can help them. So like building that trust. And then once I started doing it more frequently, I felt like the reels came easily. I know what I need to still work on, but I want to still work on reels because that's something that I enjoy doing. And then once I kind of perfect that, then I want to move into learning more about carousels and stories. So those are things that are still a work in progress, but reels used to take me 2 hours. Now I can do it 15 minutes in the car at pickup waiting for my kids. So,
Amazing. And you enjoy it. So
and
that's
I enjoy it. And my kids kind of have fun with me. They'll take videos of me when we're out and about. And so I feel like they're involved in a way. And it's been fun.
yeah, that's amazing. And I love the mindset of let me focus on one thing and get good at it and master it. And then I'll add another thing because that just shows you from the beginning of our conversation how much, you've evolved or healed the shiny object syndrome of having to do many things all at the same time. So, and that's for
Yes.
everyone too, listening.
Yeah, I feel like that translates across the board in every aspect of the business in working with you. I feel like there's a lot of shiny object syndrome in every single portion of the business. And I felt like I had to do everything and do it well. And then that led me to doing very few things well and taking a long time to do it. And so I feel more efficient and I feel calmer and I feel like progress, not perfection. Even though I wanted to perfect the reels, it's really more the art of making a reel as opposed to the reel itself being perfect, which is what I had previously thought I had to do.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a subtle distinction, but it's a big distinction in terms
Mm-hmm.
of creation and also how it lands.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's fun. I love that for you. So tell us a little bit about what's coming up next for this year for you.
Oh, that's a good question. I really want to dial in and hone my program. I really like what we've designed together, and I like that it's in two phases. And right now I'm working on what comes next in the patient sequence. And so you and I came up with the plan of having a membership, and I'm really excited about that. I'm excited about exploring a little bit more about that and what I can offer to people who have completed their time with me and their healing journey, and now they're just in maintenance mode or they want to optimize their health moving into their 50s. And so I have a couple of ideas for having a membership that they can continue, but also having an online program that fits with that so they can continue to keep the gains that they've made and keep that momentum going.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's going to add stability and also reoccurring revenue in your business, which gives it
Mm-hmm.
financial foundation.
And that's something I hadn't thought about
Mhm.
before. I really hadn't thought about what are the next steps for someone when they're basically done working with me, because it's very easy to fall back into old habits and backslide. And I want them to be able to maintain their progress and have the support to do that, whether that's working with me one on one once a month or having an online program that they can just go to and reference when they need it.
Mhm. Yep, 100%. So it serves them well and it serves your business and you well too.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And what would you say to any entrepreneurs, practitioners that are listening here today that have like they feel stuck maybe in the shiny object syndrome or creating content or they're getting consults, what would you tell them if they felt stuck in any of those areas?
I would say that it's completely normal and you're not alone. It's very easy, especially as a solo entrepreneur, to feel isolated and feel like being stuck equals failure. And that is so not the case. Sometimes when you're stuck, it just means that you're at a point where you're ready for something to change or to add something new. And it's really hard to process that on your own. You really need someone to bounce ideas around with, to have support, someone who can have an outside opinion and help you navigate that and get over the hump into the next level. And so I would say don't try and do it on your own. Don't be intimidated by tech or social media. Don't worry about feeling salesy, and you won't lose your integrity or anything like that, or you're not bad at what you do and you're not a bad business person when you have to ask for help, but you need to reach out and get help.
Yeah, and that mindset shift that you said of being stuck does not mean failure,
Mm-hmm,
that you can't grow and go ahead. You just have to troubleshoot what's going on. It's
mm-hmm,
huge because
yeah.
that will keep you going instead of like causing you to freeze.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you so much for coming on today and sharing all your wisdom and advice. Is there anything else you want to share with the audience today? Words of wisdom or advice for practitioners that maybe were in your spot last year before August?
I would say that I guess the best thing I could say is speak to women who are in my position. Busy moms, also business owners, trying to do it all. Ask for help, get help, because support is the number one thing that's going to help you stay motivated and keep that momentum going when you're tired and you can't figure it out for yourself. Women need support, and we're so afraid to ask for it. And you're going to expend more energy trying to do it yourself than you will trying to find a community that can work with you and for you. So,
Yeah, that's huge.
mhm.
Huge. Especially the more energy and also like just more time, just
Mhm.
trying to do it on your own. And actually, that leads me to a topic we didn't touch too much about, and we don't have to go super private with. But boundaries is huge as a mom. Like, how are you now? Like for January, how have you been able to have your biggest revenue month and work less and be there for your children? How has that evolved for you?
I think the biggest thing for me was shifting how I viewed my business. They say that the comparison is the thief of joy, and that was very true for me. I thought of myself, I knew what my potential is and was at the time, was that I have the potential to help a lot of women. I'm very good at what I do. I felt like I was a bad businesswoman, and that was not true. I just needed some guidance on how to set things up properly and know where I was taking my patients. I knew the journey and there was a clear path forward, and there were very small tweaks that I had to make to streamline that and make it sustainable. And so having that efficiency and being able to walk step by step and knowing for myself what the next step was for each person and having all of the answers ready to go was huge for me. I wasn't spending all this time outside of work trying to recreate something for every new patient. I also learned who is the woman that I'm capable of helping, and who am I not capable of helping, and recognizing that and knowing when to refer out and help that person find another practitioner that would be better suited for them. For example, I'm not a mold specialist and I'm not a Lyme specialist. So when someone comes to me in perimenopause and they're thinking that those are potentials or they've been diagnosed with that, I help them find the right practitioner for them. And that has helped me tremendously because they need to have the right person working with them. And I need to be working with the people that I'm best suited to work with as well. And not taking patients that I'm not an expert in their disease helps me not have to work overtime to try and figure out something that I don't know well.
Yes, yes, right. And then you're having to recreate the wheel for all these different scenarios.
Right, right.
Yeah,
so really kind of just finding my lane and staying in that lane has helped me become even more efficient and a better seasoned practitioner in this perimenopause and IBS space that I really find myself working in and with patients in that scenario. And I find that I spend less time outside of work working.
Yeah, which is huge, right? Because that's the goal. Like, we don't want our businesses to take over our lives. We want our business, yes, to be part of our lives, but we want to be able to live our lives and be moms, right?
Right. I want to be able to do both jobs well. And I don't find myself having to say, hold on, I need to put in like an hour or two of work this weekend. I'm just there, I'm available. And that's been really nice. I'm sleeping better. I'm connected with my kids more. Everything has improved.
Yes. Yeah. And I remember if we can talk about this scenario, and if not, it's fine, let me know. But when you first started posting on Instagram more and in this different way that was really connecting with people that you already knew in your community were talking to you. And I remember we kind of had to work on, I don't know if boundary is the right word, but boundary of like, okay, if some of these people are my friends, I want to help them. How much advice do I give? When do I like offer a consult? Because there was a time that you almost wanted to put a pause on Instagram because you were getting so many people wanting advice and you felt like you were giving a lot of time and energy with free advice.
Yes. And I that was so true. I do feel like it was very nice to see just how many people that I interact with day in and day out, especially the other moms within the schools and sports and things like that, that I had no idea even followed me and were really excited for my information. They would come up and say, oh my gosh, I didn't even know that creatine should be spaced apart from coffee or whatever. So the information was landing and they were just being supportive, right? And so there's a fine line between them being supportive in what I'm doing and supporting my business. And then there's others who were just kind of always seeking out free advice, what have you, or it felt that way. I'm not sure if that's what it was. I could have been misinterpreting it as well. But knowing when to say, oh my gosh, that's a great question. Why don't we hop on a call really quick? And then we can discuss this a little more. So I can't really answer these questions without knowing a little bit more of your history. And I don't want to give you bad advice and say, are you available on Tuesday at 10:30? And then I would just book them right there. And so working with you helped me figure out what the solution to that problem was. And it really was making sure that I was honoring what they're asking for and what their problem is, and not just giving flippant advice, because who knows if that is the right advice for them or not without knowing their backstory. So prior to this, I felt like asking someone to get on a discovery call with me was seeming salesy. But
Mm.
really what it was is it's reflecting and honoring my respect for their pain points and really wanting to answer their question to the best of my ability with knowing what their problem and their background is. So being more service minded as opposed to feeling salesy when asking for them to hop on a call with me. That was really in their best interest.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that, because I feel there are so many practitioners in that exact scenario, whether it is at a soccer match or
Mm-hmm.
at the end of a yoga class where someone's coming and being like, "Oh, I used to get this a lot. Can I please have a stretch for this?" And it's no, I'm not blaming the people that came to me, because they're just seeking help, right? They're approaching someone that they trust and
Mm-hmm.
they know is, the expert in that area. They're just looking for help. And it's up to us as the experts to have a process that feels in alignment with them, to guide them to the right place to get the right help. But I think sometimes what gets in the way of that is exactly the mindset you're highlighting on, is that if we know that we can help them the most in our program, but then our primal brain gets in the way and starts saying, well, that's salesy, or they're going to think I'm pushy or slimy or whatever. But and that happens, it happened to me. I used to feel that way. So many practitioners, and Karen just highlighted, and what I teach my clients is it's such a service, actually, that if they come to a call and you're really hearing in a space that's not in a community, they might not feel safe enough, right, to
Mm-hmm.
talk about their personal problems at a soccer match or the yoga. That you're only getting part of the story because they don't want to share it publicly. But if you're like in a Zoom room or a dedicated in-person space and time, then they have permission to give you the whole story, and then you can best guide them to the most appropriate solution there.
Yes, you worded that so perfectly. I felt like I was stumbling in how to
No.
articulate that message, but it really is. It's very true. I don't ever want to seem salesy or that I'm selling my services to people who are trusting me enough to come to me and ask me for advice. I love that, especially with women that are in my community day to day. I want to help anyone I know that I can help. And like you said, it might not be the right environment in a public space for them to divulge certain aspects of their health journey that they might not want to share or might not feel comfortable sharing in that space. And who knows, that piece of information might be the key to what is causing their problems. So coming from a mindset of helping and service as opposed to selling services, which never resonated with me, has been a real game changer.
Yeah, no, and you did articulate it great. I just wanted to like nail that, hammer that nail in, because I think it's so common and so important for practitioners to understand this
Mm-hmm.
for the people that you want to help and your business. And
Mm-hmm.
also, I want to highlight what you also articulated so flawlessly and effortlessly, is like, yeah, I can help you. Let's talk about this. And here's a date and time. Are you available? I just love how you said that. It really was very natural. And I think anyone can do that too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming on today and sharing all of this. Are there any parting words that you would like to share with everyone?
I don't know. I think that life as a mom is busy and confusing, and women are tenders and befrienders. And so if you're isolating, try and be mindful of that and find someone that can help you work through whatever is holding you back from being your healthiest self, because it's easy to focus on longevity, but longevity doesn't mean that you're going to have a healthy lifespan. And so you want to age well. And that means starting with your health today, because the choices that you make today affect how you're going to feel in 10 years. So just start somewhere, find someone to work with, start.
Yeah, 100%. And I take that to heart, because my health journey, and
Mm-hmm.
that really is what I try to do, and you know try to replicate in my human flawed ways.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
100%. Well, thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you for having me. This has been really fun. I really appreciate your time and what you're doing. And I appreciate all of the help that you've given me.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure. It's been
Mhm.
really. This episode is brought to you by Jane, a practice management software and EMR designed for wellness practitioners who value structure, simplicity, and calm growth. If you're a skilled wellness practitioner who's tired of tech overwhelm and administrative chaos, Jane understands. Your expertise should be focused on client transformation, not wrestling with software. Jane provides the structure and systems you need to run a sustainable practice. With Jane's streamlined online booking, your clients can easily schedule at times that work for them. With smart features like waitlists, notifications, those last minute cancellations become opportunities, not losses. It's a simple way to maintain consistent revenue without the constant hustle of filling your calendar. During sessions, Jane's AI powered documentation helps you capture important notes, efficiently allowing you to stay present and focused on delivering exceptional care. After appointments, you can end on a healing note rather than a transactional one by charging cards on file and handling rebooking before the client leaves, creating the organized, professional experience your business deserves. To discover how Jane can help you build a more structured, scalable wellness practice that works even when you're offline, resting, use the link in the show notes. And especially for you, Ignite Your Wellness Business listeners, when you're ready to implement the simple system that supports your growth, use code IGNITE1MO. So that's IGNITE1MO to get your first month complimentary. That code will also be in the show notes.